Welcome. If you are managing multiple Azure subscriptions, applying governance one by one is inefficient. Today, we will explore Azure Management Groups, a scope level above subscriptions that allows you to manage access, policy, and compliance across your entire organization effectively. Let's start by defining management groups. As your cloud footprint grows, you might end up with many subscriptions. Management groups are containers that provide a level of scope above those subscriptions. They are designed to help you efficiently manage access, policies, and compliance across your entire organization. The key power of this component is inheritance. Any policy or role you assign to a management group is automatically inherited by all the subscriptions nest inside it. This allows you to build a flexible hierarchy that mirrors your business needs, rather than configuring every subscription individually. This diagram illustrates the core concept. At the top, we have the management group. It contains multiple subscriptions, here labeled Subscription 1 and Subscription 2. When you apply a policy to the management group, represented by the green box, that policy flows down. Both subscriptions automatically inherit these settings, ensuring consistency without manual repetition. To understand where management groups fit, we must look at the 4 levels of the Azure management hierarchy. At the very top is the tenant root group, followed by your custom management groups. Below them are subscriptions, which act as billing boundaries. Inside subscriptions, we have resource groups, and finally, the resources themselves, such as VMs or SQL databases. This hierarchical organization allows governance policies and role-based access control to flow from the higher levels down to the lower levels, ensuring that your organizational standards are enforced throughout the tree. Here we see the hierarchy visually. The tenant root group sits at the summit. It flows down to management groups, which hold subscriptions. Subscriptions contain resource groups, which finally hold your individual resources. This visual confirms that management groups are the bridge between your organization-wide tenant and your billing-specific subscriptions. Why do we use this hierarchy? Primarily for governance. You can create a hierarchy that applies a specific policy, such as limiting virtual machine creation to the US West region. By applying this policy to a management group called production, all subscriptions under that group inherit the restriction. Crucially, this policy applies to existing resources and any new subscriptions added later. This setup ensures that resource or subscription owners cannot alter these high-level security policies, providing a robust layer of governance. In this diagram, the management group has a policy defined: allow only US West. We see subscription and subscription B currently existing under it. They both have this policy enforced. Crucially, when a new subscription is added to the group, the arrow indicates it also automatically receives the enforcement. Maintaining compliance without manual setup. How should you organize these groups? Best practices suggest creating management groups for distinct workload types. For example, you might have a platform group for shared services and separate groups for corporate internal workloads versus online internet-facing workloads. It is also recommended to create a decommissioned group for holding suspended subscriptions before deletion, and sandbox groups for isolated testing. This functional naming strategy helps clarify how policies and budgets should flow down to the environments contained within. This tree shows a strategic layout. The tenant root group branches into 3 main areas: platform, workloads, and sandbox. The workloads branch further splits into corporate and online, allowing different security policies for internal versus external apps. The platform branch holds shared services like identity and management, isolating them from general workload risks. While powerful, management groups have architectural limits you must plan for. A single directory can support up to 10,000 management groups. Regarding the structure, your tree can support up to 6 levels of depth. It is important to note that this limit of 6 levels does not include the root level at the top or the subscription level at the bottom. Finally, remember the hierarchy rule. Each management group and subscription can support only one parent, ensuring a strict tree structure without complex circular logic. This vertical flow visualizes the depth limit. We start at the root level, which does not count toward the limit. We then descend through level 1 down to level 6. This represents the maximum depth for management groups. The subscription level hangs off the bottom, also excluded from the depth count, showing the full vertical capacity of your organization. Finally, we must discuss the tenant root group. This is a special, top-level management group that includes all other management groups and subscriptions in your directory. It allows you to apply global policies and role assignments that affect absolutely everything in your Azure estate. Because this is so powerful, you may need to elevate your permissions to the User Access Administrator role at the tenant scope to initially manage resources and assign permissions at this root level. This mind map centers on the tenant root group. The branches illustrate its comprehensive nature, contains everything including all MGs and subscriptions. Global governance highlights its use for global policies. Access control notes the need for elevated permissions, like user access admin, to manage this critical top layer. To summarize, management groups are essential for organizing your Azure resources at scale. They provide a hierarchical structure that mirrors your organization. By leveraging inheritance, you ensure that security policies and access roles flow down automatically, reducing manual work and error. Whether you are separating production from non-production or managing distinct business units, management groups provide the control plane necessary to maintain compliance and efficiency across thousands of subscriptions. This closing sequence diagram encapsulates the workflow. The admin interacts with the management group to assign policies or roles. The management group automatically passes this down to the subscription via inheritance. Finally, the subscription reports compliance back up to the admin, completing the governance loop.